Kadyn Betts has put on 15 pounds over the last year to get ready for Gophers basketball and finding some time on the court. And we're going to learn a little bit more about him on and off the court today at Locked On Golden Gophers.
Hey,
You are Locked On Golden Gophers.
No matter what we're going to do here, we're just going to keep rowing.
Your daily podcast on the Minnesota
Whatever
Golden Gophers.
However it turns out, we're just going to keep rowing.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
We're just going to keep rowing, and keep rowing.
You're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name's Kane Rob, host of the podcast, former collegiate football video coordinator and recruiting assistant, here to talk Golden Gophers with you each and every day of the week, Monday through Friday. And today we've got a special guest joining us in a bit, and that is Kadyn Betts. Great interview with him. You're going to love some of the things he has to say, and you get to learn a bit about him on and off the court. We'll talk about what he learned throughout his redshirt freshman year. We'll talk about his goals for this offseason and how he's looking to improve. And then you get to know a little bit behind the scenes, some of the things he likes to do, some of the things he enjoys, maybe who is the least funny player in the locker room, and so much more. We're going to talk about it all on Locked On Golden Gophers. But while you're here, make sure to hit subscribe over on YouTube. We're building a community up. It's been a great time. And I need you to drop in the comments section who else you want to see interviews from, whether that be volleyball, softball, women's basketball, men's basketball, football, hockey, and more. I want to know what players you want to hear here on the podcast, because it will be my mission to get them out here. And that is why you need to hit subscribe. That is why you need to follow wherever you get your podcast, whether that be Stitcher, Apple Pods, iTunes, you name it. You'll find us at Locked On Golden Gophers. I appreciate all of you that already subscribe and follow. And if you could share the podcast on your favorite social channels and help other Gophers fans find us, we're going to build this thing. We started from the bottom and we are growing. We're almost there, and we're almost at 1K in followers and subscribers over on YouTube. We're approaching 800 right now. I absolutely love it. I love to see the growth. I love to see the community rising up. But let's talk about Kadyn Betts really quick, because I feel like through all the departures right now, through Jamison Battle heading off to Ohio State, which we'll dive into later this week in detail, but you lose a guy to an intra-conference school. Then you've got Jaden Henley taking a decision to go over to DePaul. Trayton Thompson heading down to Florida, not Florida, the university, but a school down in Florida. And then as well, you have Talon Cooper heading to the SEC back home to South Carolina. Lots of departures. You know, it's been a rough 2 years, but now the future is looking forward. The future is finding how to put this thing together, how to grow with the young nucleus, the young core, how to shape this thing around Dawson Garcia, who is coming back. There can be positives, there will be growth, but it all starts with internal buy-in. And it seems like this group is starting to really click. The culture is starting to build internally, and now it's translating it to the floor, into the sets, into the chemistry, into buckets. If we're being honest, there's going to need to be a lot of steps this season, and all the Gophers fans want to see it. You want to see it. I want to see it. We all want to see it. And one player you hear about Pharrell Payne, you hear about Josh Ola-Joseph, you hear about Carrington, you hear about Cam Christie even, and how much excitement there is. But I feel like a lot of people have forgotten Kadyn Betts, who redshirted last year. And so people are like, oh, well, why isn't he? I've even seen comments. Why didn't he play? If he's so talented, why did he not play? Well, the intention, once they started doing the spring or the late fall practices, once he was able to come through. So I think it was like in September when he started doing the practices, might have been August, but we're going to roll with September here. The intention was to get a feel for it, see how the speed of the game was for him, and then kind of evaluate it from there. Well, by the time we got to season start, it was decided they were going to have him redshirt to help him grow familiar with the program, grow into the speed of the game, grow in general, and get bigger in the strength and conditioning programs. And he did just that. He's put on 15 pounds, and that's healthy weight. I'm not saying he's out here gorging on French fries and hamburgers and all the grease. No, he put on good, healthy weight. He looks good. He looks eager. Even in our discussion, which we're going to drop into right here shortly, he looks eager to get going. And I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong as far as, look, you shouldn't have forgot about this guy. But also, he's got that fire, he's got that drive, and he's got that calmness. And that is going to be a great thing for him on the court. I am excited to see this guy play. And I'm excited for you all to hear what he's got to say with us. So here, we're waiting no further. Here's Kadyn Betts of the Minnesota Golden Gophers basketball program. All right, you're listening to Locked On Golden Gophers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It's Kane Rob, and we are joined by a special guest today. Today, we are joined by a player who is the 87th overall recruit in the recruiting class of 2023, who reclassified to the class of 2022 and was a redshirt freshman, the youngest player on the team last year. And this man absolutely lit it up on the AAU circuit. And as a junior at Pueblo Central, he averaged 22.7 points, 12.3 rebounds, 3.6 blocks, 2 assists, and 1.7 steals. I'm over here tripping over my words because the stats were just all over the place, all up there with 22 double-doubles as well. Welcome to the show, Kadyn Betts.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to just dive in right away. And you were on the squad last year, and we're constantly hearing from the fans about the excitement of the freshmen being able to grow over the offseason. But I feel like many forget not only that you were on the team last year, but also you were an absolute hooper in high school. You've been grinding in the background. So can you talk to me a little bit about that? Talk to me about, because you could have been a senior last year, but you came with the team and started working from the jump. So what was it like jumping into the Big Ten level of basketball and practices, and how is the speed of the game different? What's the preparation like, and how have you enjoyed it so far?
Man, I mean, it's been amazing. Just, coming to my first practice last year when stuff really started to get like serious, and having to guard all the players and just learning the speed. I mean, it's so fast, but at the same time, the great players are good they could slow it down while going so fast. And just kind of learning about that, the physicality. I mean, just rebounding was something I struggled with the first couple of weeks, and just learning how to box out correctly. But then, just being able to work out and watch the games in person and, just see the real speed and go to all these great arenas and get a feel for it. It was amazing.
Absolutely. And I mean, you get to bond with your teammates as well and develop that chemistry. So it's definitely going to go a long way. And overall, even knowing you were redshirting, how bad were you just itching to get out there and be in the live action?
Man, it was I was itching a lot for sure. I mean, I just being that close to the game and I mean, we'll go in was definitely tough. But then I always told myself to look at the bigger picture, why I'm doing this, and just always think about next year,
Absolutely. What would you say is the biggest thing that you learned personally in year one?
Man, I just really I really learned that you have to be calm and collected out there. You can't really let the crowd or the size of the arena get to you or who you're playing against. You have to just go out there and play your game and be calm and be confident in your game. For sure.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Now, who are some players that maybe you have watched and studied over the years when it comes to improving and elevating your own game?
Man, so I watched a lot of Keegan Murray, a lot of Chris Murray. I watched Chris Middleton and some Klay Thompson. Those are my guys.
All right. All right. And then I know Minnesota fans are stoked to see you on the floor in the future of what this Gophers program is. But for you this offseason, what is the number one thing that you're focused on improving?
I really just focused on improving my feel. I've been working on my ball handling every single day, so still want to work on my ball handling, but being able to have a feel for the game, a better feel for the game while dribbling the ball and handling the ball, able to make the right read, something I'm going to be focused on.
All right. And then to this point, what would you say so far in your basketball career is your favorite moment so far?
Favorite moment, man. I think it had to be when in AAU last summer. I had 40 points around there, and I think that was just a great game, fun game when you have it on and you just keep hooping.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely put that up there if I dropped 40 plus points in an AAU game. Absolutely hooping is right. Now, this next part of the podcast, we're going to have a little bit of fun. It's not going to be so basketball, but letting the fans get to know you a little bit off the court. And that's what's coming up next.
Okay, for sure.
First, we talk about our friends over at FanDuel. Grand slams, no-hitters, and double plays are back, and there's no better place to get in on the MLB action than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And that's because right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet for up to $1,000. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, sign up, place your first bet, and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win. What bets do I think you can maybe go out there and look at? Well, Aaron Judge and his home runs. Will he pick up where he left off, or will he take a step back? That's what you can go look at. Look at the numbers over there on FanDuel. And you can look at other things as well as going over on strikeouts or maybe under on some strikeouts for certain pitchers. It's time for you to build your specialty and figure out what is going to hit and what won't. So don't miss your chance to get a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. When you join FanDuel today, just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. All right, so we're here with Kadyn Betts, and we're going to have some fun with this one. Now, Kadyn, are there any nicknames that you have had that you enjoy or that you're willing to share with the fans out there that are listening?
Man, I mean, the whole team calls me KB. That's a good one. But, you know, with me being the youngest, they all call me little bro. They all consider me little brother. So, I mean, they all call me little bro. Can't wait.
Okay. Okay. Now, what's your favorite hobby outside of hoops?
Man, hobby. I say playing video games with my roommates for sure. We play video games all the time.
All right, what's the go-to game then?
Ooh, we go a lot of 2K. We mess around with PGA golf and then Warzone. So.
Okay. That is quite the combo. But it leads into my next question of your favorite NBA team then. And if you don't have a favorite, then who's the go-to squad on 2K?
Man, I don't think I have a favorite, but the go-to squad is the Phoenix Suns for sure, especially with Kevin Durant now.
Okay. So you're cheesing on 2K. I see that. You get the best squads out there and you get it going. But then I want you to call your shot right now. The playoffs for the NBA are starting up here soon. Who do you have going to the finals on both sides?
Man, I think I got to put the Warriors going there for sure, right? And man, I don't even know for the East. What do you think? I can't think of it.
I mean, I'm pretty biased on the East because I'm a big Celtics fan, so I feel like I would be not the right person to ask because I'm not going to pick anybody else.
You can see that again. I actually like the Celtics this year. I mean, I like him. JT. Brown.
All right, we got a rematch coming from Kadyn. And then what would you say is your favorite food spot in Minnesota so far?
Ooh. You know, it's not very exciting. I think I'm a huge fan of Qdoba for sure.
Doba over Chipotle, huh? That's what it is?
It is. That's how it is.
Is it the queso or what's got you picking Doba?
It's the queso.
Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. All right, so then who is your role model?
A role model. Yeah, that's tough. I'd have to say my role model. It has to be. I have multiple. I think it's my mom and my dad for sure. Just the way they approach life and every day for sure. Has to be them.
Okay. Your go-to TV or movie to watch?
Okay. So my go-to show is The Office. I love The Office. And then my go-to movie for like a good laugh, I would say it has to be White Men Can't Jump. I love that. I love that.
All right, we're going to gear towards more basketball, and then we'll get into a final few basketball questions. But first is your favorite pregame or postgame meal?
Man, I think pregame, I don't really have like a certain meal I go for, but I'm a huge fan of the Rice Krispie treats. I got here and we have them, and I have like 3 before every game. I like them. And then anything after, I'm just starving usually. I'll eat anything after.
I get that. All right, and then the final fun question for you right now. What is your go-to pregame music? What are you listening to as you're warming up?
Okay, so actually, most people listen to like rap stuff to get them going, but I like listening to Can You Stand the Rain and Candy Rain to kind of like calm me down before the games. So
yeah. Okay. Getting zen, getting into that flow state of sorts.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to close this one off, this show with Kadyn Betts. We're going to close it off with about 4 more questions, more basketball related. And so now you've seen some changes in the team now that we're into the off season and some departures, but what would you say you've learned from the veterans of last year's team, guys like Garcia, Battle, Cooper, and Samuels? What do you take away from them and bring into your own game next year?
Yeah, so I think from having the older guys and playing with a bunch of freshmen, I think they were always so good at being positive with the younger guys when we make mistakes. And I think that's just a huge thing for any team to have is everyone to be positive with each other while still holding each other accountable, so you can always get on somebody, but try to make it in a positive way most of the times. And I think that's how most guys react. They react better to a positive way.
All right. Now you personally, I want to know this. Don't be shy, don't be timid or anything with this. What would you say is your biggest strength on the court?
I think overall, my biggest strength is just being able to score. In whatever way coach really needs me to score. I think I'm a very efficient, good scorer.
So we're going to change the nickname to KB or Little Bro. We're going to change it to Walking Bucket when you're just out there dropping points back and forth. All right, final two questions for you. Now, a lot of fans don't really know the player facilities and what they look like for the athletes. They just know when they come into the stadium and they sit in there what it looks like. But what would you say in the athletes village or some of the other different perks the players have? What is your favorite thing about the facilities?
Oh, easily. I think the best thing is just being able to come to the gym 24/7 whenever you want, Like last night I came to the gym like 10:30 and just shot for a couple of hours, and that's just nothing better than that, being able to come to the gym whenever you please.
All right. Final question for you. And thank you once again for taking the time to join the show. The final question we have is, from a player's perspective, what is the culture like in the locker room under Coach Ben Johnson?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, the whole team, we all love each other. We hang out with each other all the time. It's all jokes and it's all love in the locker room. We mess around with each other, play music, dance with each other. It's just amazing in the locker room. Great.
Okay, well, I got to close with this, and I know I said that was the last one, but you bring that up. Who has the worst jokes? You say you got jokes out there. Who is the least funny? And this might put someone on blast, but it's all love. So
the least funny, man. It might be me. I think my jokes are hilarious. I always laugh. I think it might have to be me, sadly.
Well, that's respect. At least you're honest with yourself, but I can speak for all Gophers fans. We're excited to see you out there next year and be able to go out there and show what you do. It's going to be great. Thank you again, Kadyn, for joining the show. And that's going to do it for us here at Locked On Golden Gophers. Until next time.
Thank you.
And that will conclude our show for today. But wait, I just want to give you just a little taste of what is to come this week with the remaining shows of the week and why you should be subscribing so that way you don't miss out on any of the great content. Now, yesterday, we talked about the top 5 receivers in program history, and we gave some reasons why. We might have had a little bit of hot takes in there. Maybe not. It seems like a lot of fans over on Twitter had their takes, and it seemed like most of the guys were about consensus. So I love to hear the cases. I love to know what top 5s you want to hear in the future, but check that show out from yesterday. Now, moving forward, tomorrow we are going to have some spring notes, some more spring practice updates, because there is a session open to the media only on Tuesday. So when you're hearing it on Wednesday, it'll be fresh for you. It'll be top of mind, and I will get some of the presser stuff in there as well. So there will be updates for the spring, but then we're going to dive into, is Wisconsin, the pesky Badgers, the Skunks on ice, whatever you want to call them. I don't care what you call them. We know they're in the skunk family. We know they're our rivals. Are they being overrated in 2023? I think so. I absolutely think so. So we're going to dive into it all and see just how overrated they might be getting, overhyped they might be getting. And I'm not saying that isn't to say they can't be setting up well for the long term. But this season, 10 wins or more, which is often touted by these Badger fans out here, I'm not buying it. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. Then either Thursday or Friday. I haven't figured out which day yet, so tune in. We're going to talk about the players that have been under-recruited in Coach Fleck's time here, but have overperformed, outperformed, maybe even got to the league. Let's take a look at how the player development has been here for the Golden Gophers. Those are just 2 of the topics to help finish out this week. So be sure to hit subscribe and let me know again, who you want to hear, what players you want to hear from on this show as we move forward down in the comments on YouTube. I appreciate you. I got much love for you. Gopher Nation, we're building this thing up. I've got some exciting things building up for year 2 of my time here with the podcast, and you're not going to want to miss it. This is Kane Rob signing off. Row the boat, Sky Yuma, go Gophers.